Hi guys, Alice Taylor down here at Leather Golf Academy, and today I'm going to do a little 2019 What's in the Bag update. Right then, so early in the year I did my first What's in the Bag, and I've just played a little bit of golf lately and I've actually changed some of my equipment in the bag. So I thought, because you guys generally show some interest in what I'm playing as well as obviously what you're playing, I thought I'd do a little update today, discuss what's in my bag, why the stuff's in the bag, and why I've maybe changed away from what I was using into some of this new equipment. And some of you are probably a little bit surprised for some of the stuff I've gone to, but really feel it's helping me as a player kind of be a bit more consistent, but kind of helping me be a little bit more creative with some of my shots that I'm hitting. So if this is your first time down watching my videos, welcome down to Ali Taylor Golf. Hope you're enjoying today's content. If you are enjoying it and you don't currently subscribe, consider clicking the button and ringing the notification bell. That way you'll find out as soon as I drop a new video. But for now, let's see what's in my golf bag. Right then guys, what's in the bag? So what clubs am I playing currently? So I'm going to start off with driver, work down to the shorter clubs. There's been a few changes in the bag this year, and probably one of the real major changes for me isn't something I was necessarily even considering earlier in the year. But we're going to start on driver. So I've still got the Titleist TS3 driver in the bag. I did have TS4, but I made the mistake of kind of ordering that without trying it. And TS3 still looks great, very, very classic looking. You know, not too techy looking at the bottom of the club. But the really important thing I found with TS3 is I get some really, really good performance numbers. I'd like the idea of TS4 with the smaller head, maybe being a touch lower spinning. But what I found was that, if anything, probably my bad strike tends to be a little bit more kind of high toe to low heel, where I thought TS4 is very good up and down the face, but as you go side to side, see a little bit of a drop off. So I love the way TS3 sits behind the golf ball. And I get some great numbers. Feel I can kind of hit it both ways. Feel like I hit it a good distance. So TS3 is staying in the bag unless something amazing comes out next year. So moving from driver into fairway wood. Now I've got the Ping G410, just the standard head, not the LST, and I kind of like the fact that that slightly longer head front to back allows me to get the ball in the air, and I love the way it sits behind the golf ball. You know, it really fills me with confidence. I love the fact that the face isn't too deep, so it feels, even though I've got this down really straight face, I mean I've got this down at 13 degrees, feels like I can still hit it high, still hit it fantastic. And when I kind of first picked this club, I said this was the best 3-wood I'd ever tried, and I'll still stick by that. I will be flabbergasted if that's not in my bag at the end of next season, let alone this year. So that takes me into my longest iron in the bag. Now, I was playing Ping i500s, and performance-wise, I think numbers were good. Maybe some of the short clubs going a bit too far. My only little sticking point, and this was a personal thing for me, is they just felt a little bit hard. So what I love with the P790s is you get that nice strong performance, and for a 2-iron I'm looking for a strong distance on that. But I love the fact that with the little bit of speed foam inside, it just feels that little bit softer off the club face. And just feels great, gives me the numbers I'm after. This is still one that I think there's room for this possibly changing, but I've always liked P790s. I think the new one still looks good, feels great, performs well, and for me at the moment this does a good job in my bag. So moving into the irons, this is the big change for me. So I've gone from Ping i500s onto TaylorMade P730s. So yes, this is a blade, and potentially not necessarily, well, certainly not game improvement at all. So really compact head, but I grew up playing blades, and I do love the look of a blade. I like that compact head behind the golf ball. Strange as it sounds, it's almost like the smaller the head, actually the better my ball striking is. So I feel that I get a nice consistent strike with the blades. Love the feel. Don't hit them quite as far, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, because I think it's about consistency of distance. And I think with the slightly more traditional lofts, I probably just generate, well, I do definitely generate just a little bit more spin. So I feel I've maybe got a little bit more control on the shots into the green. And what I do like with the blades is that ability, because they're not looking to hit the ball up in the air, I like that ability to be able to hit different trajectory shots. And certainly find kind of the little low ones like I've just hit there, find them a lot easier to play with the blade than I did with the i500s. Now, like I said, the little trade-off is I don't hit them quite as far, but I've never really been one of those golfers who stands there and worries whether it says 4 or 5 or 6 on the bottom. As long as I know the yardages for the club, I'm happy just to try and put my best swing on it and give me what I need from there. Now, one of the advantages to going back to blades is my current wedges are the Ping Glide forged wedges. So I've got 52, 56 and 60, and I do love how just plain and simple these look. They feel nice and soft. The big thing for me is I know my yardages with these wedges. Now, with my i500s, I did have a little bit of a gap between my 52 and my pitching wedge, which I know a lot of guys say, well, why don't you just put 50? I'll be honest, I've had 50 in the past, and I don't like the way it looks behind the golf ball, so I'm very picky with wedges. But I love the fact that now my wedges gap in a little bit better with my irons. I love how these look behind the golf ball. They feel super soft. And certainly the Hydro Pearl finish on these, done some testing, and certainly when the golf ball's wet, definitely disperses the water nicely. So I still get lots and lots of spin on these shots. I'm always going to generate decent spin on a full shot, but it's those partial swings, which then is where the Titleist Pro V golf ball, through testing, works absolutely fantastically for me. Doesn't generate any more spin really on full shots, but certainly on those half pitches, gives me much more control and gets me to stop the ball quicker. Now that moves me into my final club, which is the putter. Now the Phantom X from Scotty Cameron, very different looking from what I've used in the past. But I love the fact that on the bottom, kind of, you can see the bit of tech with the tungsten weights. Certainly for me, the fact that there's not quite as much toe hang on the putter was big when I went through my putter fitting. What this putter really enabled me to do was, through impact with my old putter, because it was a lot more toe hang, I used to see a lot more variation with how I delivered the putter. So my start direction tended to alter quite a lot. With this particular putter, my start direction has been really good this year, and I know it's much better because I measure it using TrackMan. So then it really comes down to how good my green reading is and my speed. But I kind of feel that the equipment itself, and certainly as I look down on it, you know, very different from my old putter, but I love the kind of fluorescent yellow lines. I think for lining the ball up, aiming the putter, this is really helping. And like I said, it's just helping me become a more consistent putter. I've always felt I've been very streaky, whereas now I just feel I'm a more consistent putter day in, day out. So guys, that's everything in my bag for this year. As you see, there's been some changes in there, and hopefully the reasons I've given make sense as to why I would make that change. But it's always interesting for me to see what you guys are playing. And I think a lot of guys have 2 or 3 clubs in the bag that do too similar a job. Right then guys, so you can see top end of the bag, not really any changes. So still loving TS3, Ping G410, 3-wood, still fantastic. Gone for the UDI 2 iron. I know it's been picky, but it's like a softer feeling. 2 irons nice, but probably the big surprise for you guys is the blades. So kind of going from a more forgiving club to a less forgiving one. But like I explained as I was hitting the shots, this is more about kind of shot making, and I do genuinely feel I'm a more consistent ball striker with the smaller head. No rhyme, no reason, maybe just the fact that I know I need to strike it out of the middle. Wedges, obviously that stayed the same, and the change of putter has been really big for confidence for me for this year. In fact, maybe confidence isn't the right word. I've always been confident, but I feel I've been a much more consistent putter off the back of that. And then certainly still playing the V1X Titleist golf ball has been really, really good for those partial wedge shots. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like and share it. Comment below. Let me know what's in your bag. Let me know what you've changed. If you have changed, why you've changed. Have you seen that improvement? So as ever, really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. If you've enjoyed today's video and you don't currently subscribe, consider clicking the button, ring the notification bell, then you'll find out as soon as I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.